Kokemachine for real fishing. Here I am doing a live stream. I'm going to go sans microphone today just because I think last time it was getting in my beard quite a bit, and I realized that being inside a hut, I don't really need it so much because the mic isn't being affected by wind and other weather related stuff. So here I am at a Lake Nipissing Outfitters hut, the yellow one. Some people who might frequent this establishment will probably recognize it. I've been here for maybe half an hour, just checking things out, setting things up, taking a breath. If anybody is watching the Kojiko news tonight, you're going to see somebody on there that you recognize, and it's this guy right here. I got interviewed by Clark down at the Sunset Park launch today at about high noon, and I'll be on there on the news there, just talking ice reports, stuff like that. Kojiko News. I asked him how he caught on to me, and it was basically he came across my stuff through the algorithm on YouTube. I thought somebody tipped him off, but apparently not. So anyway, I did a podcast yesterday with the Eating Wild guys, or guy, one of the guys, okay? And that was fun. And so today I'm about to drop some clappers down. We're going to start with clappers today, and then we're going to work into probably some buckshot rattle spoons, see what's coming in. I do not have my headlamp on me, and that sucks. So hopefully we can keep this going for as long as we can. And if you guys can handle it, I'll keep filming even when it's dark. All right, but we're going to catch the evening bite. I think we got some time before we have to worry about the light being too low. So Elliot Outdoor says, how's the ice coming up in Calendar? I actually was out there this morning, and I can tell you that I measured 15 inches of ice. It was pretty wild. Just lowering this camera here so I can turn it onto my ice hole. So I'm going to turn it around here. Okay. So I'm just going to adjust it. It's going to be a little, yeah. It's going to be a little jerky for a second here. Bear with me. I'm going to have this thing set closer so you guys could see it. So I have one rod behind me and one rod in front that you guys will be seeing. So I'm just going to go get the backlight down on this thing. I think maybe 60% is ideal. And guy sent me a message the other day saying, hey, fire thing on bottom lock. It definitely enhances the how big the things you are, or things you see down there, that's for sure. So I'm gonna do that for this. I remember, I think I had it on bottom lock before, and then the reason I switched it to just the big screen is because I was getting bored and I wanted to see if there were any herring or anything like that coming up through the ice. So it's sort of an awkward position here, but that's okay. I'm just trying to make sure everything's on the camera here, including the hole. So when I catch a fish, especially if it's on the hole that is behind me, there's going to be lots of jarring for a second while I get things going here. Oops. Okay. So I should have shown you that clapper before I put it down. It's sort of a newer one with some crazy chartreuse blades. I don't even know where I got it from. Or not where I got it from, where I got the blades from. I don't remember ordering them. All right, so behind here, I'm just lowering down my other clapper. I'll show it to you while I'm looking. Len, I'm actually fishing on in South Bay here. So here I got this hot pink clapper with black blades. Calling these ones the dark or something like that. I haven't put them on my website yet. I'm still, every once in a while I sit back, have some blades in front of me, and I'm like, okay, I want to make one that's just black, maybe one little bead on it. And that's what it is. So we'll see if they work out here. Dave Bennett, what's going on? Welcome to the party. It's going to be a second here. We're in 28 feet of water. So anybody who's curious, I will be selling clappers in the Birch Grove parking lot tomorrow for all the bungalow types coming in. My minnow was really going there for a second. I thought for sure we're going to be seeing some play. Like I thought I saw something coming on the radar, but maybe sometimes when those minnows really get going, especially with this bottom lock function. All right, so I got both my minnows down at the bottom. I'm going to put a bell on the rod that's behind me here, just in case I miss it. It's funny, the light, my usual light was in my truck, and I thought to myself, don't forget it. You know how it works. And then you forget it. I always try to keep track of everything as I'm going, but just going to go through some comments here. See what's going on. I changed my lines out. I realized, not the whole line, just the fluorocarbon leader there was a little bit wonky. Grimy Fishing, how's it going? Corey. How are you doing? I saw that Jesse caught a big wally out there. It's pretty awesome. Paul's Way, how's it going? Jeff Vanderkoy, you've been getting out catching some fish or what? I'm sure you're gonna send me some pictures of some giant pike you guys caught. Jeff Burnett, thanks for showing up. Nick Bruce. I mean, last week it was like I had a walleye on pretty quick, but maybe tonight. Apparently, I'll move to this spot, to a new spot here, so it's sort of a new, fresh spot. Hopefully, there's some hungry fish in this area. Although I've heard that around here the bite wasn't really. There's somebody down there. Wasn't. Oh, we got a looker. When I was fishing this morning, actually on Calendar Bay, and I'll be releasing an ice report, like I did a edited ice report and whatnot. I'll release that tomorrow. But when I was fishing on Calendar Bay, I had a lot of fish coming in and looking and stealing minnows. So real light bites. And it was the kind of thing where they were stealing minnows off my bell rod. It was a little windy, so the bell was sort of jingling a little bit. But you would have thought I would have heard, them ripping a minnow right off my hook. But they were that kind of sneaky. Yeah, open up the window over here to let in some more light. I'm going to try my best to try to keep things illuminated in here. Like I said, forgot the light. But as you can see, my screen is now set to bottom lock, so you see the first 6 feet of the bottom. And that gives you, everything you see looks a lot bigger. Now my bell is slightly ringing, and I'm looking over and I'm seeing, it's probably my minnow. He's doing his thing on the clapper behind me here. The more he moves, the more the blades clap against the bead. Sorry, I'm just keeping an eye on it there. I don't want any more minnow heists. So the ice has been making lots of sound. but I think that's just from people driving around. But lots of popping. It's not particularly cold today. It's definitely, the wind has definitely calmed down from this morning, because it was really something this morning, let me tell you. I mean, it wasn't like crazy. I've seen winds that blow your pop-up hut right off the lake. I do remember one time that happened to me. I hear bells ringing, but I think it's just the minnow. So I guess there's going to be lots of people coming up tomorrow to get their fish on at all the bungalows. Last week I got to meet all sorts of people. You know, I was shaking all kinds of people's hands, and basically my game is I just, you know, lurk around the parking lot there with my binder full of clappers, and if anybody wants to chat, we chat, and then if anybody wants a clapper, you get the clapper, you know, for the low price of 1 for 12, 2 for 20. Sorry, that's me just lifting my line a little bit there. Just gonna turn the camera around here. Yeah, you can see I got behind me, the rod is on a bell. It's in one of these, here, I'll show you. So I've got it in one of these trigger mechanism things, but I don't have it in there like ready to spring. I just have it, just sort of using it as a rod holder at the moment. I like these trigger things though. They're pretty simple. In case anybody's wondering, that's an energy drink there, which I'm gonna drink right now. Not feeling low energy, but why not? I made some new micro clappers. This one I call Little Ugly, because it's got, man, all kinds of beads on there. Fluorescent orange, hot pink, and chartreuse. I'm just like, I'm gonna go for all the colors, all the hottest colors that hurt your eyes to look at. That was the one that caught me a mini walleye this morning. Not that that's, you know, not that a 10-inch walleye is anything to write home about. All right, getting back to fishing here. So my minnows are definitely moving along. Another thing I forgot was my underwater camera, but again, for the night bite, I find it doesn't work. None of these underwater cameras work that great on Nipissing because it's so cloudy, but it never hurts to have it down there a little. I've got one of those Ioyo ones. As you guys might recall, I did a review on one last year, and I can tell you that it's light and small. That's what I like about it the most, and gets pretty much as good of a view as my Markham 485C. I actually ended up giving the Markham to my brother. I don't need endless amounts of cameras, you know. But the 485C was a huge camera. So I'll keep fishing, like jigging my clapper here for a bit since I got a nice fresh minnow on there. And then I might throw down a rattler, you know, see if I can call in some activity from around. But like I said, it was kind of a light bite this morning. So I don't know if it will have picked up or if it's just going to be more of the same. You know, as is fishing. Okay, I'm just going to go through some more comments here. So, Species 8472, welcome to the stream, buddy. Yeah, it's going good. So this is the first stream you made it to this year. Lucky enough, it's only the second stream. So the first stream, though, I actually caught a couple fish. That's always nice. Corey, make it clap, he says. Yeah, Species 8472 says, we can handle the dark, Coke. You'll be listening to the sound of my voice and the appearance of darkness, illuminated solely by a fish finder. Dave Parent says, "Big Caleb now." What do you mean? True North Bates, how you doing out there? Michael Gates, how's it going? Daniel M, thanks for all the updates. Any thoughts on Commander Lake? Good luck today. I don't know anything about Commander Lake whatsoever. Unfortunately, I've never been down there. In fact, there's a lot of lakes around here I've not actually been to, even though I've lived here for 12 years, you know? I still haven't fished like Turtle Lake or what's the other one out there? There's a whole bunch of lakes between here and the Ottawa River along the Mattawa River there that I haven't even been to. Talon? Yeah, I haven't fished Talon. I haven't fished. Did I say Talon? Talon, Turtle. There's one tiny little lake that I did fish at some point there. A tiny little lake that I think my buddy said I couldn't tell anybody about. So I'm not going to start now. I just ran into that particular buddy again after not seeing him for a couple years. And no frills there. And it's good to see him. Lance Freer. I had luck, a lot of luck, about 4 feet down catching burbot. 4 feet down from the ice? Is that what you're telling me? I don't think I've ever heard of burbot being caught anywhere aside from right on the bottom. So tell me more. I've heard like that whitefish go around right under the ice on Nipissing quite a bit, but yeah, no, I haven't heard about burbot. Sean Young, welcome to the party. Corey or Core, GI tonight. That must be good luck. GL. Jeff, you haven't been able to get out yet, huh? You think my gain's too high, Sean? Let's see how it looks if I can change the gain. Whoop. I'm trying to think where the settings for that are. I have it on auto medium. I don't feel like there's too much like random debris in my thing that I'm too concerned about the gain, but let's take a look at it at auto low. I know sometimes on places like the Ottawa River I've had the gain up real high and like there's so much stuff flying through that you can't tell what is what. So James Evans says, call him in for us, Coke. We are staying with Lake Nipissing Outfitters this weekend. Maybe see you tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna be out there probably 8:30 till maybe 12. Somebody asked me if I was gonna be there till 12. I usually hang out till about 11:30, but I can probably hang out till 12 if somebody's coming. I like this one, the Lance Freer, try a dipsy diver. I don't know if they work as well on the ice. Mike Gates says doesn't take long before calendar slows down. Yeah, I think it gets a lot of pressure real fast. It tends to be the only place where there's activity or good, decent ice in the beginning. Russell Lamb, how's it going? We have ice this year down south in Long Point. Finally, I'll be up to Nip later in the winter. Right on. So Long Point, where is that? Mitchie Ross, Coke, how the heck are you? Doing okay. Still living. I was supposed to go see my nerve doctor tomorrow, but I decided that's a lot because I got to drive all the way down to Barrie. I decided I was gonna put it off again. They got the results back from the MRI, and apparently my nerve is okay, but there's some sort of bone spur in my arm that seems to be causing the numbness that I have. Then the doctor, or my personal doctor, was like, they can probably go in there and do surgery where they sort of like wear down the bone spur or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, it sounds like something they do with a chisel. And I thought to myself, like, you know what? Like, that's probably going to lay me up for a bit. So I'm going to wait until this actually starts bothering me before I'm going to get any kind of that surgery. But we'll see. So Len says, trust me, Coke, I live on the lake. Bite slows down in February. Yeah, I know. Definitely when I was living on in the Yellock area there was definitely slow times, but there was also some moments in the middle of the ice season where things seemed pretty awesome. Some good days. Jeff Burnett says, is there much snow on the lake? There's a couple of inches of snow out there. Nothing crazy. There's still very slippery ice underneath it, but it seems like the snow has made it a lot more tolerable. I would say that I haven't really needed cleats or anything like that for a bit. So that's pretty good. Yeah, there's not much snow as Species 8472 says. Maybe 2 inches. Yeah, a couple inches out there. Steve, how are you doing? Dave Parent, heading up in a couple of weeks. Can't wait to try your clappers. Right on. Steve, you met me in the parking lot on Friday. Right on. How did you guys do? How did you guys do as far as fishing was concerned? So Joe Conley says gonna come up next week. How can I get 2 of those clappers? Or what day of the week are you coming? If you're coming on the Friday, like if you're coming up to hang out in the bungalows and stuff like that, you can catch me in a parking lot, in the Birch Grove parking lot there. Failing that, you can also go to Billy Bob's Baits. I've got a few there, so you can definitely hit there. So Jeff Vanderkoy says my buddies are going out with Al starting Monday for 3 days. I had to drop out and go to Orangeville. What's going on in Orangeville? Species 8472 sounds like you had quite the fishing adventure there. I said, well. I mean, you sent me the picture of the burbot there, so I assume you probably had one meal of that guy or two meals. I remember you said it was pretty big. Wayne Foreman, how are you, man? I am out with Al right now, yes? Like, well, Al's not here, but I'm in his hut. All right, so I'm going to switch over to some sort of a rattling bait for a moment and see if that plays a little more in our favor. So I'm going to go with, I'm just going to go with a straight rattler to start, and then I might fire on one of my favorites there, buckshot rattle spoon. Let's see how that plays out. Let's see what I got. Got my one. Oh yes, there it is. All right, let me fire on this little lipless crankbait, golden and black. Let's see how this goes. So far, these minnows continue to rattle my bill. Ooh. Sorry guys, that was just my elbow. So I see some people have been catching some mud puppies. Got some mud puppies coming in. I haven't seen any this year. I remember there was one year where I saw all kinds of mud puppies. So Chrome Chaser says, "Sup, Coke Man? How cold is it gonna get next week up there?" You know, I haven't really looked at the weather beyond this weekend, and I know that it's warming up tomorrow. I'm gonna try. My kid's funny. He wants me to take him out, but he doesn't really like ice fishing so much. I think he likes being out on the lake, which who can blame you? It's pretty awesome. G-Star. Let's see if we can get him. I'm gonna let this thing rattle right on the bottom for a second. Len, you say buying kippers is cheaper. Yeah, but buying kippers is harder on the soul. Chasing Ontario Outdoors. I haven't watched it yet, but I saw that you guys posted the video of you guys fishing close to that pressure crack. I will definitely give that a view when I get a chance. So yeah, for anybody new to the party here, shortly at 5 o'clock, I will be on, I believe tonight, I'll be on the news, Kojiko News. So I got interviewed today regarding ice reports. So that was fun. So Species 8472, he said that he fished for stool. Did all right there. I've never even tried any of those lakes there. You know, I've tried like stuff north of here and some small trout lakes and whatnot, but I have yet to try a lot of. There's so many lakes, and it's funny because, you know, I know a lot of people are always trying to keep tight-lipped about, their favorite lakes, and they're always they'll tell me, but they'll be like, "Don't tell anybody." The funny part is that I rarely have a chance to actually get out and fish those lakes. One guy told me a lake, and I know the lake. I won't mention it because he told me not to tell anybody. But It's like right beside the highway going up north. And I thought to myself, like, you know, probably the fact that it's right beside the highway is the first reason I wouldn't ever fish it, because I kind of don't like necessarily hearing trucks and stuff while I'm trying to get my fish on. That being said, I mean, when I lived in the Yellock area there, I was hearing trains and stuff all the time while I was fishing, and it didn't really bother me. So I guess you get used to it. So Nick Bruce says the Orangeville Conservation is open. I've never fished there either, even though I grew up in that area. Mushroom Mojo B. Wish I was fishing. Good luck, Coke. Yeah. Hopefully you can get out sometime. So Dave, you say there's guys fishing in Oakville and Burlington. Is it just, I'm trying to think, like, how far out does the ice go there? Daylight Kate says Burbot or Barbeau. I think if you're talking about the other guy that was talking about catching, I believe he would have been talking about Burbot. I actually haven't seen too many people catching any kind of catfish in the, like, I've seen videos of people catching catfish through the ice, but I don't know if I've heard of too many people catching catfish on Nipissing through the ice. And that's interesting because I know they're definitely here. I've, caught a few catfish from the Calendar Bay dock, a few catfish in the Lavasse River, just bullheads. It'd be sweet if we could get into some channels. I've heard word that there's some areas around where I could get into some channel cats. Actually, you guys might not know this, but I actually really enjoy catching a lot of the weirder species of fish. Like, I mean, some people might say catfish isn't that strange, but there's a serious group of people who are all about catfish fishing, and I enjoy it. I haven't got out nearly as much as I'd like, but I also really, really, really like fishing for carp because they're huge and they put up a crazy fight. And recently this summer, my dad was, or not this summer, this past winter here, my dad suddenly decided that he didn't want to go to Rice Lake anymore, which has been like where I usually go for my birthday celebrations of hard carping, because Rice Lake is full of carp, and usually we do pretty good there. Just catch and release style. But my dad decided he doesn't want to go there anymore, and I was like, this is like something I look forward to all year round. But I was thinking, I know there's a few other lakes in that area that have carp in them too, so maybe I can pick another lake and my dad will be okay with that. But everything costs the big bucks to rent any of these cottages around, but I sure hope I can get carp in this summer, or for my birthday, So the Pikachu kid says, is that a Striker 4? It is indeed. I've had this one for, I'm going to say, like 4 or 5 years. I use it in the summertime. I use it in the winter. It has a GPS system with it as well, but I don't really use that. I think, to be honest with you, I probably use my phone more often for GPS related stuff, but sometimes if I drop something or find a honey hole, I'll mark it on the fish finder. But I don't know, for some reason I don't use the GPS that much, but it's on there. So G Star says, I'm up there next Friday for the weekend. Here's hoping for slot walleyes. Wayne Foreman, you just left this morning. Fishing was slow. Yeah, Al is a great dude. Top-notch customer service. Yep. Yeah, I've heard from a few other people that are in a few other operations that the bite has been a little bit slow the last few days. I know we had really cold weather yesterday, so a bit of a cold front. G Star, I say, what do you have on Coke? I have a minnow clapper behind me with a minnow on the bell, and in front of me I have a rattle bait, which I'm hoping would bring some fish in, but so far I haven't seen anything. I feel like there's going to be a moment where, probably right as the sun's going down, there's just going to be a bunch of fish. and, and up till now, it's just going to be us sitting here hanging out. So Len says the Ottawa River is underfished. I've caught massive perch and pickerel. You got to know the spots. Yeah, the Ottawa River is massive. I remember some guys had me visit them. I forget the name of the town. It was heading towards Ottawa. They had me fishing this little river that just came off of the Ottawa River, and it was just catfish bonanza. It was awesome. And then, on the Ottawa River, whenever I fish it, which my brother and I try to get out there when we can, we usually get a good couple of walleye, and I think saugers are something I catch there that I don't think I have caught anywhere else in my life. Oops. Again, that was my elbow. I'm just going to move this so my elbow's not knocking it. I've also caught like the largest fall fish I've ever seen in that river, and more than one I had caught one that was 18 inches. If anybody knows about fall fish, you know that they're just basically the biggest minnow that you're ever going to see in your life. Like, you could have cut that guy into steaks. All right, let's see what I'm going to throw down next. Well, I got that tungsten buckshot that I haven't caught anything on yet. Throw that guy down. Look at that beauty. It's got the UV, and you can really feel that weight on there. So I'm going to fire a minnow on this guy and then get that buckshot going. Like I said, this is one of my favorite baits. The buckshot series. All right, I'm just going to step around the camera. It's sort of this for a sec so I can grab some minnows. Oh. All right. Now, Al was telling me that people are catching them on pinners today. So I'm lucky enough to have a pinner. Whoop. Sometimes reading people's complaints about different operations can be really hilarious. Because I remember one guy's complaint was that the minnows were so small that they just like split in two on the hook. This wasn't for Lake Nipissing Outfitters. I forget which outfitter it was, but yeah, the people were pretty upset about the size of the minnows they were getting. All right. So Bruce Dunstall, what's up, Coke? King Point is a bay in Lake Erie near Port Dover. Nice. I've heard. I've never fished Erie myself. I've looked at it. I was down there in Port Dover for a wedding once. That was the last time I've been there, but I've heard lots of great things about. That's right. I'm just laughing at Bruce's shit long point comment. Lance Freer, where do you get your haircut? The barber shop. That's good. Yeah, that's where I get it cut. I use a fish blade. So Lake Simcoe is frozen, like solid all the way over. Right on. True North Baits, I'm sure you're happy that the Postal Service is back in order. Definitely has been pretty good. I've found that even though they said everything was backed up, that a lot of mail is going through pretty quickly, surprisingly. Okay, I've had a few people get stuff in a couple of days. So John Conley says we'll be up Thursday morning with Fish Bay. Right on. Kevin Vieira says you're coming up on the 24th with Fish Bay. I've never been out with Fish Bay. I've talked to them, but never. I wouldn't know what they look like. The Fish Bay people, that is. Species 8473 said that burb fed 4 adults with enough left for 1 more feed. So Jeff, you're heading down for a CT scan and a medical appointment. Yeah, I hear you on that, buddy. Like I said the other week, they loaded me right into one of those MRI machines, and they're like, "Don't move." It was actually right after my night shift, so I sort of fell asleep right in the middle, and they're like, "Sir, you're moving," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I guess I fell asleep." Jeff Burnett says, "Stir up the mud. Let's." I got this tungsten high density. It's funny because the one guy was saying to turn down my gain. You can see, whoa. I didn't know. Sorry, let me fix that. But yeah, you can see my knot. I've changed out my line because my fluorocarbon was looking a little bit dicey. I've been having a lot of fun tying up my minnow clappers, like in some downtime on my night shift. Just fire on a couple movies. I've watched all the Aliens movies. I'm just sort of really interested in how they sort of play it up, that things have been created, and the link to the Prometheus movie. Anyway, I won't get right into it, but somehow I got into the backstories of all the Aliens movies, and then the Predator movies as well. And there's all these comic books. I don't read comic books per se, but all these comic books that sort of build on the lore of all these different crazy aliens. Anyway, sometimes when you're on night shift, you gotta fill it with exciting stuff like that. Let's see if I can. So this is on auto low. Let's see if we can. What happens when we turn it down to? It's like seeing my knot isn't really beneficial. Let's put it at 61. I feel like that isn't or there's less image here than there was, so I don't know if that's low or not. Okay, yeah, let's stir up that mud some more. Yeah, Jeff, well, like Dave says, all the best. And let's get out fishing sometime this year. Nick Bruce says, fish the Bronte Marina. I guess there's probably a decent amount of ice, or some amount of ice there, eh? Daylight Kate says, catfish is a nice fight. Yeah, I think I caught a pretty sizable catfish on the Pickerel River up here. It was definitely, I mean, it's probably like 10 pounds. I know they get bigger. I know there's juicy ones out there. But I actually caught this same catfish 2 nights in a row. And I'm pretty sure it was the same guy because he was the exact same size, caught in the exact same place. I figured that was his spot, where he liked to do his deeds, whatever those would be. Probably catching different kinds of things that are coming down the river. Paul's Way says, I love fishing for carp. Yeah. Nick Bruce, carp fishing is great fun. Yeah, it's the kind of fishing where you can sit on a dock, set up your stuff, and just wait for everything to go from 0 to 60. I like it. I like it a lot. And the carp are big. So Jeff Burnett says Lake Scugog is full of carp. Yeah, I know I've heard that Scugog's full of them too, and let me think of some of the other lakes. Somebody was telling me the other day. There's Pigeon Lake, I think, has a lot. I think anything that's in any relation to the Trent waterway is pretty filled with carp. Buckhorn Lake, I think I heard, is pretty full of carp. And Chimong, I bet you Simcoe's full of carp. And I remember when I lived in Toronto, like just as I was moving was when I had figured out how to catch carp, and I was really disappointed that that I only figured it out as I was on my way out of the city. So I see something high on my radar there, but I'm trying to get its attention. I don't know if it's an actual fish or some sort of USO. Man, I haven't seen much as far as anything coming in on the radar here. Paul Brown, he said, just home from work. Did I miss any action? No, it's been quiet. It's been a quiet night. So Paul Brown, you say Madawaska River. Lots of carp in there. You know what's funny is I was years ago, has to be like 10 years ago, because I haven't seen this particular buddy in the flesh for a long time. But he lives down, or at the time he was living in a place called Strathroy. And he was really close to the Thames River down there. And we were seeing like tons of gar pike, and then these other fish that I had read about over the years, but had never seen one in person, like a big mouth, or I don't know if it was a big mouth buffalo or a smallmouth buffalo, but a buffalo fish. I don't know if any of you guys have seen those ones, and I think I saw like it's called like a quill sucker. They're almost like carp like fish, but the ones that were naturally here. So Russell Russell Lamb, you ask, was it the Mattawa River Coke? Lots of cats in there. Yeah, I think I've heard there's lots of cats in there, and I want to get out there and like put some time into trying to catch catfish out. Ooh, we got some action down here. He's looking at it. Go for the buckshot. Break the skunk. Well, let's hope he gets on the clapper beside me here. Yeah, so it would be nice to get into more catfish, even in the spring. I used to go down to, is it Moon River there for the walleye opener with my brother and my dad and a few other people. And I had the biggest blast just sitting on the dock catching mudcats like just all night long. Just sitting on the dock, you know, cooler full of beer, and there's mudcat after mudcat. I heard as well that there were some big channels in there, but I was just catching mudcats, and I was pretty happy about that. But I'd love to get to a spot where there's some channels that are that's close to here. I always figured there'd be some serious channel cats in the Sturgeon River, but everybody I talk to hasn't really said that they've seen them there too much. I know the one guy that seems to know where every species of fish is in this whole area, and that dude's name is the fishing musician, Steph LaRue. He's a great source of, I swear he's fished every single thing there is. So Daylight Kate says, can you show us your clacker lure? That's a clapper, is the minnow clapper is what I call it. Let's see. I don't know how well you can see it here. Yeah, let's see. Let me turn the camera around here. Like I said, the light's getting kind of low. So there it is. And the idea is there's a bead in the middle, and when the minnow gets moving around, it like causes the blades to hit the bead. It's a glass bead. So yeah, it adds a little bit of a audio vibe to your dead stick. You can also jig it though, and you know, make some noise with it. But when I was originally sort of coming up with the idea was for your minnow to add noise to it. Basically, I was inspired by, like, I was trying to use different kinds of spinners to jig with, and you'd be surprised that a spinner, you know, if you reef it definitely spins like a spinner would, but as well the blade of it clicks against the weight. So I was like, okay, how do I amp this up? So then I came up with how I put the blades on the minnow clapper they're not meant to spin. They're meant solely to just smack into the bead. So far, we've had one fish come in and look and leave. He didn't want my buckshot rattle spoon tungsten with my pinner on there, and he didn't go to grab my minnow clapper. So you'd say it's a bit of a slow bite today. See, what I really want to do at some point, because I know a lot of people, like I said, like my Ling Slayer minnow clapper tends to be one of the hottest sellers. Every time I make them, they get sold right away. Like, the idea is that they're just really glowy and really big and loud, and my experience of catching burbs has generally been that if you can get their attention and it's nighttime, then they're usually pretty ferocious creatures. But I know there's certain parts in this lake where they really get going. I think in February there. And there was one place I remember it was around the Manitous, I was sort of told not to tell anybody the specific spot, but my brother and I were there trying to catch wallies, and it was just like as soon as the sun started going down, it was just a burbot bonanza, and they were very decent sized ones. And I know there's other people on this lake that catch massive burbs, like just massive ones. And so I'd love to get out to a spot and really throw some link slayers down there and try to drum them up. I also had an amazing burb night once on Lake Rosso. It was funny because I was looking at the topographical or hydrographical map or whatever, and there's a certain reef we were looking at, and I'm like, yeah, maybe we should move this hut like slightly over this way. That's where the lake trout are going to be biting. And then we moved the hut over, and it was sort of like, we could say two small hills, and we were up in the space in between the two small hills. And as soon as the darkness hit, it was like we just started getting like mad burbs coming in. And then my buddy turns to me because a lot of people don't like catching them, including my buddy. And he's like, you had us move this hut here because you knew that they would be coming up this way. And I'm like, well, yes and no. I didn't know they were going to come, but I was hoping. But I don't think I've had that kind of a bite for burbs in a while. And I know there's people that know all about them, know all about where to get them. So, species 8472, you say there's lots of sauger in Abitibi. I still have yet to try that lake out. Bernie, how are you doing, buddy? Jeff Coatley, how are you doing? Yeah, if you like what you're seeing and you like just sitting around an ice hut talking and catching nothing, then hit the thumbs up button. Hopefully we get a fish before this broadcast is over. We're already at 57 minutes. I usually go for an hour, but I know Al said maybe like 5:30 would be the time to go in. I still have to have dinner with my family and whatnot. So that's always great. Fish Guru, how are you doing? So Kevin and Samantha. I think I was talking to Kevin a few years back because I guess I was printing t-shirts and stuff like that, and some of the same companies I was using for printing t-shirts because it was back during the masking days. I'm sure you guys all remember that. I remember the guy from Fish Bay was asking me if the company I was using could do masks, and I think they could, but it was like pretty expensive. But he was looking for custom masks. Isaac Ends, I'm already seeing trucks on calendar, that's for sure. And I'm trying to think if I'm just looking around where I am in South Bay and seeing if I see any trucks yet. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen the trucks out this way yet. But definitely in calendar, I watched a dude driving around. But I'm going to say, Isaac, like in Calendar Bay, I was measuring 15 inches of ice. I'm going to say there's probably a great chance that by the end of the month, there will be all sorts of trucks driving around out here. Ooh. So the flippin' dad says we are flipping out right now with ice bungalows out by Bernie. Are you flipping out like meaning like you're catching lots of fish? See, my phone keeps on it's like I can't see anything. So it keeps doing this weird focus thing. So Bernie says, I can see the ice bungalows from my couch. So Len says, you're past the 4 o'clock bite. Pack up. Alan Brindley, you're asking how many inches today, Kokemachine. In this spot, I'm not 100% sure, because I didn't bring my measuring doodad, but I can tell you that Calendar Bay was 15 inches, 14 or 15 inches when I measured it this morning. There was one spot that was like 14 and a bit, and another spot that was 15. Fishing Guru, no luck so far. I had one fish come in on the radar here, but he didn't want what I was serving him. So I got buckshot rattle spoon on one side and one of my clappers on the other side, and nothing's pulling. So Bernie says I measured ice out in front of my place this morning, just shy of 12 inches. Nice blue ice. Jeff says the fishing just starts getting good after 4. Yeah, sorry guys, with the light being sort of crummy here and me forgetting my light, my phone's gonna start acting weird, as you can see it's like trying to find stuff to focus on. So Fish Guru says the Grand River is full of carp. Yeah, that makes sense. So Alan Brindley say you're planning on coming up at the beginning of next month. Right on. So Bernie says it should add some serious ice over the next few days. Whoa. Come on, focus. Sorry for the extreme blur here. Maybe if I focus this thing on the fish finder, it'll stop doing that. Okay. So Jeff Burnett says all the Kawartha Lakes. Oh, there we go. Ha! Didn't feel that guy bite. Okay. This guy's giving me a... Ha! All right, so now that we can barely see, let's see what I got here. So I got a fish. It's a wally. Let's grab my pliers here. So I was on the buckshot rattle spoon. Okay. I'm just gonna hold them in front of here. So that guy shot out of nowhere. I'm not sure. Oops. He's a chubby one. He might be a keeper. Let's see. So I'm just gonna... Sorry about the darkness, everybody, but gotta get a measuring board behind me. All right. So we are definitely in the keeper zone. Sorry, just gonna turn the camera around here. So there you go. I got my keeper. Now you can see him, right? So there's my keeper of the day. Sorry for the bad lighting, but this guy is definitely in the zone. So it looks like I got dinner for tonight. Beautiful. Hit the buckshot rattle spoon again. Sorry for the darkness. Forgot my light, but pick for dinner. Just kidding. Walleye dinner, you know. All right. So just gonna triple check this guy. He's definitely in the 40 to 45 centimeter zone. All right. So I'm just gonna put him remote. All right. So there you go. Last guy, last minute fish on. So again, that guy really popped out of nowhere. Let's see if we can find his brother. Looks like there's something else on the radar down there. So there's my buckshot. So there you go. Right when you think it's all over and you're not seeing much action, guy shoots out of nowhere. So there's me adjusting my clapper there. So Alan, I see you're on the thing here. So I just caught a fish. I see your message was from 505. So G-Star, you said you caught a bigmouth buffalo on the Welland River. They get huge from what I understand. Devin, going up to Calendar Bay in 2 weeks. Right on. Saw a bigmouth buffalo on 39 hours. So Big Otter Creek, Port Burwell. Burwell, yeah. If you want some big channel cots. I do. That's probably really far away from me, isn't it? Yeah. It's good to come up for a good time. I like fishing for chilling out. I like it more than I like going to the store to buy, kippers. Lucas, so far haven't seen too many burbs yet this year myself, but I did see that species 8472 caught a massive one. Alan Brindley. If you're in the parking lot of Birch Grove, you will most likely encounter me there in person if you're coming on a Friday. Species 8472 said it right. There are mofo birds in this lake. There are most definitely. Yeah, Alex, the 4-gram vibratos there. I do find I've caught lots of burbs on those. I also have the buckshot rattle spoons work really well too. With a stepped on minnow on there. Hey, Kokemachine, I met a friend on the ice, says he won some stuff from you. Anyways, I recorded him telling his story, giving you a shout out. Do you mind if I post the video? Yeah. Is it any one of the guys who's still due to get their package? Because I know the one guy who won the Billy Bob's Bait package, I haven't heard from him as far as if he's had a chance to come grab it yet. So I try to tell people when they come to get their prize to let me know so I can meet up with them and interview them if possible. I have Lucas Stevenson heard of people catching muskie through the ice. All right, so I think I'm gonna wrap up the stream here, but I'm gonna wrap it up by going outside where you guys can see and holding up that fish, that keeper that I caught there, and then we're gonna wrap it up for the night. It's not quite as dark out here. Just turn the camera around here. All right, there's my dinner, nicely in the slot, in a beautiful spot. So I hope you guys enjoyed waiting an entire hour before I finally caught one. But this guy is gonna be tasty. So everybody have a good night, and everybody out there who's gonna be fishing tomorrow, have a lot of fun, and I'll talk to you guys really soon.